Yeah, it's my phone. And so she'll keep herself on mute, and then when it comes time to questions, I'll give her a chance to cue in. All right, is everyone here? It looks like everybody's here. All right, is everybody rolling? Okay, perfect. Well, good morning. Thank you for joining us here today. As you're aware, one of our officers, Sergeant Robert Semenchuk, has been charged, and he will be appearing in court on these charges later in April. Today, we have Chief Farooq Sheikh. He is here to provide a short statement, and then he will take your questions. I just want to remind everyone that because this matter is still before the courts, that we will be limited on what we can comment on in that regard. So without further ado, Chief, I'll let you come to the podium. And as I mentioned to some of you, we do have someone joining us by phone from the Globe and Mail. So when it comes time to the Q&A portion, we'll just sort of take turns, and she'll be asking questions from the phone. Thank you.
Do we need to press that? No,
it's on.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming here today. For those who don't know me, I'm Farooq Sheikh, and I'm the Chief of Police here. We meet quite often, and most of you monthly. And often we meet to share good news, good initiatives, crime data, good arrests, drug busts, seizures, firearms. Today's not one of those days. Today is a day that we also got to share not so good news. And as a police service, we want to be open and transparent and accountable for our actions. So it's not just good news you hear. You also hear sometimes when some of our members have done something bad, and that's the day today. Like Lindsay said, a couple of days ago, one of our members was charged and will be attending court on the 22nd of April. For breach of trust and unauthorised use of a computer, those are the offences that the Crown have advised us to charge with, and which we've charged with. The member's name is Sergeant Robert Semenchuk, a 22-year member, and he's accused of accessing our internal databases for non-police purposes and using information for those databases to pursue his own personal relationships. We were made aware about these allegations by a member of the public in early 2023, and we took those allegations seriously. As a result, we suspended the member and removed access to all database and access for him being able to come into the police station as well. We notified our Serious Incident Response Team, CERT, and our Public Complaints Commission, PCC, and the PCC have been involved throughout this investigation. Semenchuk, again, will attend court on the 22nd of April to answer to these charges. I know there's going to be a number of questions that you want to ask, and to ensure, as a police service, that this member or anybody getting charged has a fair trial. There's limited that I can say, because I don't want the case thrown out because we've said too much. But I am willing to share these number of things. Firstly, the actions of this individual are not reflective of the values of our police service and the conduct and the overwhelming members that we have here who do a phenomenal job, both sworn and civilians. Public trust and confidence is paramount to the work that we do here and in the communities. We acknowledge that a police officer being charged can negatively impact trust and confidence. And I'm hoping as well that the community and all you also recognise our accountability and transparency here today as well. We take access and use of our data very seriously. We've been working closely with our Access and Privacy Unit to come up with ways to be able to prevent this from happening again. And we introduced new audit systems in May as a result of this investigation. And we're doing more work to prevent it going forward, so we're not stopped there. All our members, when they come here, they go through detailed training about standards and expectations. And every time a member logs onto the system, they have to read a warning to say that their access to that system's got to be for police legitimate use only. These investigations were extremely thorough and detailed. And some of those delay or some of that length was out of the police control. But I want to thank my Professional Standards Unit for doing an incredible investigation, and they're continuing to do that investigation as well. As of today, they continue to do that. I want to thank all the witnesses and all the people affected by the conduct of this member who came forward to assist in the investigation and for their patience throughout this lengthy investigation. And again, for my Professional Standards team for keeping them updated on the progress of this investigation. People may wonder why we provided a photo of our member, so I'll explain. Some of the affected people or witnesses out there may not know him by his name, but they may recognise him by his face. So we've put the photo up, and we've done this before in the past for other investigations where we think that people may have used a different name. So in that case, if there are additional people come forward, witnesses or affected people, or additional information people have, we recommend that you contact our Professional Standards Department on telephone number 306 777 6514. When investigations like this happen, we have process that we must follow, internal process, and the Police Act dictates how we deal with people. Now that he's charged, he's going to go to court, I will sit down with my senior leadership team and my legal team to decide on what's the most appropriate sanctions moving forward that we can deal with or we can impose. And I want to say and reassure for all the public listening, I want to reassure them that this is an isolated incident by one member. It is not a true reflection of the phenomenal work that we do day in, day out, and what we do in partnership with the community and our partners. I also want to reassure you that we take every complaint seriously, and we're open and transparent. And if it means that we have to charge a member and put him before court, we're willing to do that like we've done here today. And I just want to thank you all for coming here today and obviously sharing this news. But again, we'll keep you updated what happens with the progress and obviously the court trial on April the 22nd. Thank you all.
Now we'll take questions. Perhaps we can just go in order and then we'll come around and take questions from the phone as well.
Okay.
Were the people that he was trying to contact, were they known? Did they know each other beforehand?
No, I think, some of them he may have, I can't go into detail, he may have gone to a call, but he's made contact with some of these people. It may have been from going to a call for service, but majority of them, I don't think he knew them. Sorry. And like I said, I can't go into too much detail because that's going to be up before the court on the 22nd of April.
Has the Regina Police Service ever seen a situation like this with one of its officers?
Well, I think, police services around the country and around the world have seen similar incidents like this. There was one recently in Calgary, similar. So it has happened before, but what we're making sure here as an organisation that we really tighten up on all our audits, our random checking, so it doesn't happen again.
Can you give any sense to how many people were affected in this incident? Like you use the term affected person, witness, but people that this individual reached out to with this information, any number you can give us on that?
There's multiple witnesses, and again, I don't want to go into too much of the detail. I'll wait for the court case. And there may be some more coming forward, hence why we've put a photograph of them. But there are multiple people that are affected by this.
Can you talk a little bit about the auditing process you brought in and what was in place prior to that?
Well, I can't talk about what's in prior place to that, but I could talk about that we're doing random checking now, and we're a lot more thorough in what we're doing now. So if there has been somebody who's been dealt with for minor misuse of our computer databases internally, we will thoroughly monitor them, and we're going to do random checks to ensure that we're monitoring people. And again, when people go onto the system now, there's a warning they have to read, warning them not to do it for unlawful reasons as well.
Why, you mentioned that there was some delays in the investigation that were out of your hands. I guess most people would wonder, why did it take 2 years to charge this?
Well, I think any investigation is lengthy. You've got to do investigation, you've got to speak to witnesses, you've got to do your thorough investigation, all the interviews, and then you obviously got to go to the Crown as well. And there's some delay with the Crown procedural. And there's other stuff out of our hands that I can't explain in here, but it maybe come out of the court why there was some delays as well.
Can you say whether he was suspended with pay, without pay?
Well, he was suspended with pay. And again, we've got the Police Act and internal process that we have to follow.
I guess you mentioned some of the training and some of the, warnings that come up on a member's computer when they log in. But can you kind of explain what sort of policies and training that officers do undertake before they're allowed to, use the internal database?
Well, everybody has to use all internal database, have to go to following training. If it's data protection, what they can and can't do. So they all have to go through that. But what we're making sure we reinforce it in the training that this sort of behaviour will not be accepted. And actually, the message here, by charging one of our individuals, the message is clear. We've notified all our staff of what's happened here. And we've also reassured them that, we will not tolerate that. And what I will say is, what's happened here has an adverse effect on my members. Majority of the staff are outstanding here. So they're extremely disappointed, like we all are here, what's happened here today. So we'll just ensure we monitor, we ensure that we can keep pushing our train, and we ensure that we learn from things that happened in the past, such as this.
And then, I guess, how key is it knowing that if an officer does breach trust in this way, like how key is it that you reassure the public that this is rare or that this isn't happening very often?
And the fact that we got this press release today, the fact that we sent it out yesterday, it shows that we're open and transparent. And the fact that we're doing so much good community work with our community and our partners, again, shows that. So I think this does reassure them that if there are things that come in, if people do make a complaint, we take it serious. We investigate as thorough as we can. And if it means that members have to be charged or disciplined or had advice, wherever, we're willing to do that as well.
What kinds of relationships was he pursuing?
Well, some of them are like personal relationships, some of them are intimate relationships, but again, I can't go into the details of those. That's going to come out in the court.
Were they women?
Yeah, there were women, yeah.
All of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll now take a question from the phone. Janet?
Hi, Janet Green with the Globe and Mail. Can you tell us a little bit about Sergeant Semenchuk's career, including what units he served in?
I can't tell you all the units he served in, but I can tell you he's a 22-year member, a sergeant. So as a sergeant, to be a sergeant, you have to go through the ranks. You have to start as a constable. Here at Regina Police Service, we move people around, so they would have got an opportunity to work in various units across RPS. Then after being a constable, you get promoted to a corporal rank. So you'd have to go through a promotion to get to corporal, and then subsequently to a sergeant rank. I don't have the data in front of me to break down all these all the places that he's worked in the career in those 22 years. But there's 3 ranks, and in those ranks he would have worked in different units.
Could you give us any examples of specialized units that he worked in?
Just bear in mind, I'll ask one of my deputy chiefs because I don't know, but stand by.
I would say he, as all officers start out in patrol in a uniform capacity, but he did spend a large portion of his career in investigative units, so stolen auto, robbery show cap, units that typically operate in a plainclothes capacity, but are involved with more complex investigations.
Okay. Another question, you said that there's multiple people, so multiple people covered by these 2 individual charges?
Yes. We follow the guidance of the Crown, and because it's 2 charges, but it doesn't mean they're not global charges. So they still will hear from all the witnesses, all the people adversely affected by it.
Okay, and you're not giving us a number of how many women?
There's multiple, and all this will come out on the court date, and plus there may be more between now and then as well.
Was there any thought in keeping Sergeant Semenchuk in custody for a bail hearing, or he was released on an undertaking before his court date?
Every time we charge somebody, we have to make a risk assessment, and we have to look at a number of factors. Do we think they're going to continue offending? Do we think they're going to escape? And or fail to appear? So we have to risk assess all that and make a decision. So we consider all these factors when we deal with anybody in charge, anybody, whether there's bail or remand. In this case, we deem it appropriate that he was charged and bailed to attend court on the 22nd of April.
I think the average person, when they hear a charge like, misuse of a computer database, may not actually even know what that means. I take your point that you can't get in depth to allegations that are before the court, but can you, I guess in layman's terms, tell us what we're actually talking about here?
Just that he's accessed the data for his own personal gains, where he's met a number of people, and that in itself is more than enough. That he's committed the offences within the Crown of advisors on the charges, and then they'll all be heard on April 22nd.
Okay, and just to be totally clear, access the data of women for personal use, which would be relationships, some personal, some intimate.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Can you just explain how the women's That would be on the database, like just why police would have access to their information?
Well, because, without me going through all of them, it could be that they called in. It could be that they were a victim of crime. It could be other reasons why. So there's a number of reasons why they could be on our database.
Can you talk a little bit about how long police believe this conduct was going on for? What time period was this happening?
Well, we've done a thorough investigation, and obviously it looks like it's been going on for a number of years. But again, all that will come out on April the 22nd. But we've done a thorough investigation. My team have gone back as far as they can. But again, like I said to you earlier, is we've published a photograph of it because we're still continuing that investigation.
Oftentimes when people are charged, they appear in court quite quickly. Why is it that it's going to be into April before he appears in court?
Well, that was a date that was given. I think sometimes when you remand somebody, they're in court in a space for a couple of days because you have to. But that was the day that was proposed. I think it was about 5 weeks or 6 weeks from the charge date.
Just for clarity, what year was he suspended?
2023.
2023. And is he still a member?
He's still a member at this moment. Like I said earlier, is I'm going to be sitting down with my senior leaders and the legal team to review the entire case now that he's been charged, to consider what things are open to us as a police service going forward.
Will the Regina Police be enacting any extra, or reviewing its policies at least, and maybe enacting further ones to, I guess, have more backstops to ensure this doesn't happen again?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've implemented something new about auditing, but we'll continue to review to see if we can make more and more improvements. We don't want this happening again, and we've learned as a result of this. And anything that happens, we've got to reflect and learn to say, what can we do better? What can we do to prevent it? So we're going to continue to review that to improve that.
You've only announced charges against the one officer. Are there any other members of the RPS that are receiving any manner of discipline to do with this incident, or is it just isolated to this officer?
No, this is just isolated to the one officer.
All right, everybody. Anything else? Otherwise, we'll be wrapping up here. Anything from the phone? Oh, is there any further questions, Jana? Hello?
Oh, hi, sorry, I lost audio there. I was wondering, are there any previous complaints about Sergeant Semenchuk? I'm sorry if that was asked in the period that I lost audio.
I think I've got to make sure he gets a fair trial now. So I think anything else is going to come out. It's going to come out in the trial on the 22nd because I've got to be conscious that I don't want to have an adverse impact on what I say. So anything further will come out in the trial.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Have a good day. Thank you. See ya.
Likewise.